I was working for Otis back in the 1980s, I get a very strange request from the Vice President of Engineering to come down. He wanted to talk to me, and it's very unusual because I usually went to him with problems. He didn't come to me with problems. And when I went to his office, he shows me this letter, throws this letter on the desk, and he says, I want you to look at this letter and tell me what you think. And I looked at the letter, and it was a letter of threats against the company, and it was signed Son of Gary Faltin. And I right away knew, I said, I'm sure this couldn't be either one of my sons that have written this letter. But I said, let me check, and I called Greg and I called Jay, and I said, I just want to check to make sure that you haven't written any letters to Otis or to any executives at Otis. And both of them told me, said, Dad, we're so busy out here trying to go to school, we have no time for stuff like that. So I took a look at the letter, and it turns out that this was an employee that I had counseled in confidence, and I had tried to make him feel better by explaining that a lot of times you reap what you sow, and that the meek shall inherit the earth, and a lot of good things like that. And he started crying. He broke down. He started crying, telling me all of the problems that he was having with some of the people at Otis. And he was a young engineer, young Chinese-American engineer. And I thought, well, he's just having a tough time, and I just kind of need to get him on the right track, and he'll be okay once he toughens up a little bit. So I told and I put my arm around him, and I said to him, I said, look, I said, you're going to be okay. Things are going to work out for you. And I kind of forgot about it, and then this letter appeared at Otis with the Vice President of Engineering. And I realized right away, I knew that neither Greg nor Jay had done this, but I saw there were metaphors in the letter and threats in the letter with sayings that I had said during my counseling with him, that it was this young Chinese engineer. And then after a couple of days, they told me that he had left, had never showed back up. He actually quit before he was fired. So that's the story.
That is classic.
Yeah, it said Son of Gary Faltin, and I've had to live with that. That he signed his letter, Son of Gary Faltin. We all had to live with that.